Hey everybody, welcome to another video. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jeff, and this here is my KLX250, but obviously with Bill Blue's 351 big board kit. Of course, we have an EJK for the fueling. We've got the AIS deleted. We have a KDX Snorkel under here, and we also have a full FMF exhaust. Cosmetically, we got Pro Taper bars, Kawell underbar mirrors, and of course we coated the plastics here, cut the rear fender off, seat concept seat. In today's video we are finally getting the KLX351 dynoed. Pretty excited to see what it makes. I'm thinking around 27, 28, but maybe it'll surprise me, get to 30. But we also should have some good torque. We'll also be able to see our air to fuel ratios to see how we are with the tuning. So let's go ahead, get geared up, and head down there for the dyno run. Alright, out on the road. It is another beautiful day out here in Oregon today. We've been really getting some nice weather. Before we get to the shop here to do the dyno run, we're gonna get some gas, make sure we're filled up, ready to go, and then we should be good to head there and get the KLX put on the dyno for you guys. Alright, let's get all fueled up here.
We enjoying the sunshine today?
Yep. It's a good day.
Oh yeah, it finally came out, man.
Yeah, we've been getting some good weather recently.
Well, you enjoy.
Alright, thank you. All fueled up, ready to make a dyno rip. Beast of a Hemi right there. Alright, let's drop back here and get one last little rip before the dyno. Here we are, Beaverton Honda, Bob Lanfear's Beaverton Motorcycles. I've come here a few times to get work done on my motorcycles, and they're always pretty fair. So today we're getting a dyno run though. Let's go inside here and get set up.
What about 1030? Bike sounds good. What kind of pipe do you have on there?
Full FMF.
Right on. So we've talked before, you and I. We were talking about the power commander, right?
Yeah. Alright guys, had to fight for the camera to be able to film dyno run, but we got it done. So now I'm just waiting for them to dyno a WR 450, I think he said, and then I am next to get the KLX on there. So in the meantime, I am just walking around the showroom here trying to get ideas for the next build. I don't think I would get a quad for the next build, but I think it would definitely be cool to have one.
Alrighty. Perfect. So yeah, he'll get his going. It's going to get really loud in here. So once he has a sound to go.
Okay, we are done at the dyno, done at the shop. Huge shout out to Beaverton Honda, Beaverton Motorcycles, wow, they shut off that lot, for getting me in there, getting the dyno run set up, and of course letting me film. Like I said, going into it, they always take good care of me, so huge shout out to them. Alright, without further ado, now that we're at a parking lot, let's go ahead and get to the numbers, what you guys are all excited about. Okay, so here's the dyno graph here. Peak horsepower, we are at 27, and max torque about 19.5, so pretty good numbers, right about where Bill Blue expected them to be with his test bike. As you guys can see here from the graph, power does drop off after about 8,000 or so. And like I've mentioned in the videos before, you can definitely feel that. But the main thing here is the air to fuel ratios, which I wanted to see. So all the way from basically idle to about 6,000 RPMs, it's acceptable, about 14 to 1. But then for some reason here at 6,500, 7,000, we get a way high lean spike, and then once we get past that, it gets okay for about all the way until 9,000, and then after that we get rich. So that means I need to add some fuel to the yellow zone for sure, and then add less fuel to the red zone. That should solve that. It's just that main lean spike there, that's the big thing. And maybe if that was down a little bit lower, we could have gotten a bit more horsepower out of it, but 27 is definitely good. Here are some of the run conditions that you guys can see here. So it was about 62 degrees, humidity was 28%, and it was a 4th gear roll-on. So the numbers are pretty good. With that being said though, I do have some more plans for the KLX, and we'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be really great for the KLX, but good numbers, 27 horsepower, 19 torque. That's right around where I expected. One of you guys actually got it pretty much on the nose, 27 horsepower, in a couple videos ago. But let's go ahead and get back on the bike and digest this a little bit. Alright, so here we are back at home with the KLX right here in front of me. We also have the dyno sheet right over here on the back of the truck. So let's go ahead and break this down a little bit. So Bill Blue, with his test bike, he made about 26.5 horsepower and 20 torque, and that was with the FMF Q4 only, not the Megabomb. And then apparently when he put a Barker on the test bike, the power jumped up to 29, and the torque I think stayed at about 20. So in comparison with the FMF, I got about half horsepower more. I'm about half a pound-foot down for the torque. Let's go ahead and talk about that. The torque here, so as you can see on the graph, it comes on real early. That is about 4,500 RPM, and then it stays relatively constant until about 8,000 RPM, where it drops off like the horsepower. So on the forums, somebody dynoed their stock KLX 2018 EFI bike, and it made about 18 horsepower to the wheel. So when you look at that with the big bore and the mods that I have done to it, it's pretty safe to say that there's about a 9 to 10 horsepower increase over stock. But the main thing with the 351 is the torque and how early that comes on. Like you guys see on the graph, the torque, that's the thing that you're gonna feel while riding the bike. So if you guys remember, for when I first ripped on the new 351, I probably mentioned feeling like I was kind of being sucked back into the seat or pulled back, and that is because of the torque. So you're going to feel a lot of that torque. As you can see here on the dyno graph, now we actually have some evidence as to why the bike feels like that. Now I don't want to harp on this too long, but comparing that to the WR and the CRF, The WR, I've heard a lot that the power, you need to wring it out a lot to get the power out of that bike, and then the CRF does have a bunch of low end torque but not as much up top. The KLX is more of a mid-range bike, which is apparent by this dyno graph. So the KLX, you're going to have a bit more torque when you're just rolling onto it, so if you're passing someone you don't have to downshift a bunch to get the power out of the bike. That WR that they had in there before me was a stock WR 250R, and it made about 24 horsepower. So we're about 3 horsepower up. I'm sure the torque curve was a bit different compared to the KLX, but enough of that. I don't want to harp on that too much. I already made a video as to why I chose the KLX. If you haven't seen that, go ahead, check that out. But next thing here, before I talk about was the big bore worth it, is this power drop off. This is most likely due to the cylinder head probably being choked off. That is mostly the case for a lot of bikes. The cylinder head is a bit blocked off, so port and larger intake valves would probably help out a bunch with that, and then cams, of course, more duration. Alright, last thing here before I determine whether or not I would do anything differently or if the big bore was worth it, is that there's just more than numbers to the bike. Of course, as you guys can see with the 0 to 60, bike may have different horsepower torque, but when you're actually in the real world putting that down, like the 0 to 60 run or passing power, the bikes could be pretty similar. So the KLX you saw with the 351 ran about 5.9 seconds. I probably could get better, but other riders may get worse. So again, it just really all boils down to the rider. Heck, even maybe the color of the bike if you wanted to, your budget, whether you're buying new, used, whatever. But enough of that. With this new information, do I feel that the big bore is worth it? And the answer to that question, pretty quick to answer, is yes, I definitely think it's worth it. Of course, you get that 9 to 10 horsepower gain with that big bore, which is definitely a lot for the KLX, especially starting out at 18. The thing about the KLX is that it responds really well to mods, so with the Barker exhaust and a lidless airbox and the EJK, you're probably looking at, I'd say, probably 24 horsepower, and that's pretty similar to a WR. So again, it all boils down to power delivery. Now, with the amount of money I have into the KLX, would I do anything differently if I was starting all over again? Probably not. I definitely like exploring the limits of the KLX, seeing what it can do. So with the amount of money I have into the KLX, it's probably the same amount as a new WR uncorked. So we're making about the same amount of power. So I don't think I'd do anything again. I am kind of a green machine type of guy, Kawasaki. That is one of the reasons why I chose the KLX, of course, but hey, you know, if a bike does something different and it's a new experience, why not try it out? With that being said, we do have some parts coming for the KLX right now, and then this whole dyno run thing has got my mind racing about other ideas with the KLX. But I think that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the dyno run. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also share it to your friends and those who may enjoy it or find it useful. Go ahead, leave a comment down below what you guys think about the dyno run, any conclusions that you can pull away from the KLX and the dyno run, and of course go down, hit that subscribe button, get the bell on. We are getting pretty close to 1,000 subscribers, so should be there shortly. With all that being said, join the club, and I'll see you in the next one.